Good afternoon. Welcome to another edition of Sports Buzz. This is your daily dose, 30 minutes power packed of all that's happening in the world of sports. I'm Anil Thomas. Let's get started with the top stories at the top of this hour. India and England are set to lock horns for the fourth and final test match at the world's largest stadium in Ahmedabad from Thursday. India lead the series 2-1 and a draw or win would be enough for Virat Kohli and company to seal a spot in the final of the ICC World Test Championship. Australia beat New Zealand by 64 runs in the third T20. Aaron Finch and Glenn Maxwell star with the bat. Aston Agar takes 6 for 30 as Australia pull the series back to 1-2. The Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir tops the medal tally in the second edition of Khelo India Winter National Games. Jammu and Kashmir win 11 gold, 18 silver and 5 bronze medals. The 5-day mega sports event concludes in the famous ski resort of Gulmarg in North Kashmir's Baramulla. Manchester City makes it a staggering 21 wins in a row in all competitions. Gabriel Jesus netting a late double on either side of Riyad Mahrez's strike as Wolverhampton go from being level at 80 minutes to losing 1-4. And Cristiano Ronaldo marks his 600th league game with a landmark goal as Juventus beats Pisa 3-0. Win helps Juventus close the gap on Milan rivals and keep slim title hopes alive. Well, those were the headlines. Now for the stories in detail, starting first up with the top story and all eyes on that India versus Australia 4th test match that begins tomorrow. Well, Team India is all set to take on England in the 4th and final test of the ongoing 4-match series on Thursday in Ahmedabad. The hosts will be riding high on confidence after their fantastic win in the previous test, in which they thrashed the visitors by 10 wickets inside just 2 days in Ahmedabad. However, India need to win or draw the final test of the series to confirm their berth in the World Test Championship final against New Zealand at Lord's in June this year.
India will go into the 4th and final test match against England on Thursday, needing only a draw to win the series, which will also seal their spot in the June final of the inaugural World Test Championship against New Zealand. England made a bright start to the 4th test series, sunning India with a 227-run victory in the opener in Chennai, but then faltered as the hosts regrouped and took a 2-1 lead with comprehensive wins in the 2nd and 3rd test matches. India's test deputy Ajinkya Rahane suggested that the pitch for the 4th test would be similar to what both the teams fared in the 2nd and 3rd test.
We're just focusing on winning the test match and then get that spot in the championship final. But for that, we have to follow the process, play some good cricket. We are not taking England lightly at all. We know that how important this game is, and yeah, this means a lot to us. Pitch looks pretty similar. I don't know how it's going to play. That we'll have to wait and see. But yes, we respect England team. They are a very good team. Balanced team, and see, I thought we played good cricket in last 2 test matches. England played really well in the first test match. We are not taking them lightly. It's another test match and we just want to go out there and give our best.
When it comes to team selection, Team India in the absence of Jasprit Bumrah is likely to bring Umesh Yadav into the playing 11, with Kuldeep Yadav expected to get a green signal ahead of Washington Sundar. For England, Jack Leach is expected to replace one of the pacers, and either of Mark Wood or Ollie Stone could be in the fray to bring some fresh blood for the visitors. With plenty at stake in this game, both sides will look to give it their all for one last time in this test series, and another exciting encounter is on the cards. Sports Desk, DD India.
Well, how does this particular test match pan out over the next 5 days? Do we see action winding up in 3 days, 2 days? Or maybe we see 5 days of full action there on that cricket ground in Ahmedabad? Well, to get a perspective there on how things could particularly stand in this particular test match, the 4th and final test, there's lots at stake It's not only India and England playing there, it could also be Australia keenly watching that particular outing there, playing T20 in New Zealand. But looking at the way things stand, purely in terms of do they stand a chance of making it to that World Test Championship in Lord's come June? Well, to analyze, how this particular test match could pan out, or what could be the dimensions that England could bring into play. Can they spoil India's party? Can they let Australia in? Or will India, look for a draw? Do we see a result? Lots of questions that, that come in our mind, and to get an answer to some of the questions there, we've got with us Narayan Singh, my colleague, joining us this afternoon in the studios. Narayan, first things first, how do you look at this particular outing? Do you see it go full 5 days, or do you see another exciting contest on the cards where the ball and the bat have even space to play?
Already our vice captain Ajinkya Rahane has said that it's going to be a turner, as it was in Chennai and in the third test in Ahmedabad. But this is not a pink ball test, it's a red ball test. It will be a day test match. That's why definitely it will not go for the 5 days, but it will not over inside 2 days as it happened in the third test match in Ahmedabad, as it was a pink ball test. Definitely a challenge will be for the batsmen, because already our captain and the vice captain said that the match it will be a turner right from the day one, as the pitch behaved in the second test match and the third test match. Hopefully, but batsmen have to apply themselves and play to their potential, because if you play according to the conditions. If you show your skills, definitely it is in test match you have to show your skill. By its name, it is evident that it's a test match. Therefore, you have to show your skills. You have to play according to the situation, whether it's the grassy pitch, whether it is a turning pitch.
Okay.
It is here you have to show your skills.
Okay. Now you're looking at, moving from that pink ball to the red ball, to the red cherry that you will see in the fourth test. Also playing away from lights, playing in normal lights there. Does that change the dimension of this test match, and does that bring England somewhere into play in this particular test match?
Definitely, Anil, it will have an impact on the match, because the red ball and the pink ball are very different, and the pink ball cricket is in its nascent stage. If you look at difference between the two balls, red ball and the pink ball has a very hard surface, and its lacquer is it has a prominent coating of a lacquer, a paint is there, which makes it more shiny than the red ball. If you will compare the two balls, the red ball and the pink ball, definitely a pink ball is shining a lot than the red ball, because it is being used for the night cricket match. Because if its color will fade early, then it will create some visibility problem for the batsman. That's why a lacquer is coated on it, so that it doesn't fade easily, and the batsman it will remain visible for the batsman during the night light time. So definitely it's a challenge for the batsmen. But as far as this match is concerned, it will make their batsmen's life easier, because the pink ball cricket is in nascent stage. And as far as the pink ball is concerned, what happened in the third test match in Ahmedabad, actually the red clay was used in that match, and in the second test match in Chennai, black soil was used. Therefore, whenever a ball pitches on the red ball, it comes more faster to the bat. That's why it gives very less time to batsmen to adjust according to the condition. Okay. And what happened in the third test match in Ahmedabad, that after the pink ball was used and it was on the red surface, and the ball was quickly coming to the bat, and it was giving a little time batsmen to adjust to those conditions. And apart from that, there was in Chennai, in the second test match in Chennai, there was a spin in the pitch. The ball was just only spin was there. But in Ahmedabad, in the third test match, there was few balls are turning also, and few are just going straight. If you will take a look at the balls in which Indian spin bowler Akshar Patel and Ashwin got wicket, which were on the straight deliveries. There was no turn on the in that balls. Therefore, the batsmen became dual-minded. They went for the spin to play, and the ball was coming straight to the bat, and it was hitting their stumps. But definitely, when we will play the fourth and final match in the Chennai with the red ball, definitely it will create there will some difference, and it will be little bit easier for the batsman to play in that match.
Okay, now Ajinkya Rahane, when asked about the pitch, he said, I don't know how the pitch will play, but let's hope that it plays good, because he looked pretty bamboozled looking at that track, though playing away from lights, playing away from that pink ball. But does in any way this particular pitch, now that you see for the fourth test match, does it look different, because the soil is going to be the same? Do you see more grass there? What is it that England can feel optimistic about? You've lost a test match in 1.5 days, so now when you come back to the same venue to play, you need something to pick yourself up. What's that pick me up kind of mojo that England team, or for that matter English batsmen, look at from this particular wicket?
Definitely, England is one of the best team in the world, and they have a world-class player. And the thing is that they are out from the World Test Championships after losing the third Test match in Ahmedabad. But they would definitely want to finish it high, because as the test match is concerned, England's side is always concerned about the test cricket, and definitely they have many reasons to win this match. They want to end the series on a positive note, and apart from they want to show that they are a world-class team. It's the main thing is that their pride is at stake. They are calling them the world-class team. They have the world-class player. They have world-class bowlers. And if you are in a test match, and it's all about skill, and if you are calling yourself a world-class team, and they're possessing world-class of players, they have to show your skills. They have to show they can play in all conditions, whether it is a grass, whether it is a red clay, whether it is a black clay. You have to show your skills. It's not all about all about just saying that the pitch was not good. In that pitch only our batsman has scored plenty of runs, whether it is in second match, in the third match also. In the second inning there was India chased the target without losing the wicket. But you should apply yourself in the right condition and play according to your potential, and you have to adjust according to the pitch, according to the situation.
Okay. Now looking at the Indian side first, how do you look at the Indian side? Rohit Sharma scores heavy at the top, but Rohit Sharma clicks generally at home. But having said that, what are the other changes that one could expect from that third test match as we go into the fourth?
Anil, our pace bowler Jasprit Bumrah has applied for the leave, and he is not playing the final match against England, and in that scenario we can see that our other pace bowler Umesh Yadav may play this match. And apart from this, Kuldeep Yadav can be there in place of the Washington Sundar, because the pitch will be a turner. Definitely in that case we have seen that our Washington Sundar is a spin bowler, and but the Kuldeep Yadav has a great turn. Therefore, if the pitch is going to be a turner, definitely the captain Virat Kohli can call. Already we have in the second match also he was there, but Kuldeep Yadav, he may recall him in this match, because if it's going to be a turner in place of Washington Sundar, he can be there. Already we have Akshar Patel is there, and Ashwin is there. They have already done fantastic job for India in the previous matches. So two changes we think Team India may go for in this match.
Okay. Now, when you look at that, English side, what do they bring to the table? Do they make wholesome changes? Because I believe, except for Joe Root, nobody else clicks in that particular squad. So, what's the change that you would see from an English perspective, going into this particular game where you play for pride?
Anil, the one mistake Team England did in this, particularly in this series, is their playing 11. In the second Test match, when they just after winning the first match, they rested their spinner Dombes, and they rested Anderson, and they rested the Joss Butler. Just if you are winning, you are already won the first Test match, and you are making changes for the second Test match. And again in the third Test match, when our Rohit Sharma already in his press conference said that right from the day one the pitch will turn. Again you are doing the same mistake. You are playing with 3 pacers, and you are basically the main you are giving rest to your spinners. Definitely it is the mistake the England team did in this series, and this time definitely I think they will bring back Dombes in the team as a spinner, and few more changes they can do. And the news that coming, it's looking like that Chris Broad might be rested, and the other players, some other players they can bring back in the last match.
Okay, now word on Indian spinners, especially Akshar Patel. He's that local boy there, brings that flavor to the ground. His home turf. But Ashwin, the dominance that Ashwin has managed. How do you see Ashwin there? He's now crossed that 400 Test wicket mark. But Ashwin as a bowler, has evolved. Especially in Ashwin, phase 2.0 that he's brought about. He looks a different bowler altogether, and that adds many more dimensions to the arsenal that he brings to the ground.
Definitely, Ashwin is a out-of-box player. Whatever he not only balls, but he is a thinking bowler.
Okay.
It's like an engineer is inside the Ashwin, which engineers his innings, his batting, his bowling in a different way. So as he did with the bat and ball in the first Test, in the second Test also, in third Test also, and it reflects, and that performance is that is the results, the stats is the byproduct of that performance he is doing on the field. And now he is the second quickest bowler in the history of cricket to take 400 Test wickets. It shows his performance, his application on the field is coming in form of stats. So he's a different bowler, and ICC has also nominated him as the player of the month. Recently they have started this series, and definitely we can say that he's an out-of-box player. He knows how to bowl according to the situation, how to tackle. He has a great match understanding. That's the more important thing which I think Ashwin has.
Okay, now looking at that World Test Championship, purely from a perspective of India and England both vying for it, but England can spoil India's party if England manage to claw their way back and draw this particular series. So will Australia be watching this particular Test match this particular Test outing more seriously? They are playing T20 there, but their eyes, at least their coaching staff would be looking at this particular Test match, with a lot of intent.
Definitely, it's a valid point. I think more than England, Australia will be just eyeing on this match, because all the result of the match will decide whether they will play the final of the World Test Championship against New Zealand or not, because England are already out of the contention after losing the third Test match against India, and now Australia has a chance if India loses this match, and India needs to draw or win this match, and definitely Australia must looking at this match so that they can also qualify for the final of the ICC Test Championships.
Well, Australia will be, with bated breath looking at this particular Test match that India and England play there at the Ahmedabad. So it's just not 22 men there on the ground. There could also be 16 men sitting in New Zealand looking at this particular game very closely, especially as they two play, because New Zealand has already booked the ticket to the World Test Championship final. It's a toss-up between India, Australia, and England. England almost certainly out there, out of contention, but Australia and India would be having tense moments as they go into this particular 5-day contest between India and England. But one final word before I let you go, especially when it comes to crowds back at the at the Motera Stadium there. How do you see the the crowds back at cricket stadium enjoying Test cricket there? And do you see this world largest stadium that we have all been talking about, it living up to the billing, especially when it comes to the fans getting their money's worth?
Definitely, Anil, if you talk about the crowd, it's act as a motivating factor for any team. And when there was no crowd in the first match between India and England, India lost that match. But as the 50% crowd was back in the second match, everything was changed and India was back to the winning ways. And after that, India is leading the series 2-1. And definitely, a stadium is we can say that. It's a great thing. Indian sporting history has the largest capacity of 132,000, and definitely it shows players also enjoying this moment, and definitely it's a pride moment for not only for players, for fans, and everyone to have such a great stadium India has. And in future also, it's not only about cricket, it also about the other sports, the complex it has the facilities for other sports also to conduct. As our Home Minister said that once the complex, the Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel complex will be completed, India can host any international events like Olympics, Commonwealth Game and Asian Game within the time of 6 months. So it's a great achievement here.
Okay, a big achievement there. Let's keep our fingers crossed. Let's see India there on that winning track, keeping that winning momentum there. England won this particular opening test match, but then lost their way in the second test in Chennai, followed by a drubbing there at the hands of India in that pink ball test in Ahmedabad. Narayan, thank you and appreciate you joining us, giving us your insights about the game, and also helping the audience understand on what could be in store when India and England square off in that fourth and final test of this particular test series in Ahmedabad. So it's going to be a good contest between bat and ball, but India clearly having an advantage, having taken a 2-1 lead and with an eye there at the World Test Championship. So purely India will be looking to make it count, and India will be looking to finish this particular series 3-1. But England can do Australia a favour. But will that happen? We'll have to wait and watch as that particular test match begins on Thursday morning there in Ahmedabad. Well, let's stay with cricket but shift focus across continents and take a look at the Australia versus New Zealand match, where Australia's bid to save the 5-match series was successful as they defeated New Zealand by 64 runs in the third T20 international. New Zealand won the toss and put Australia to bat first. After losing Matthew Wade early in the second over, Australia's innings was stabilised by the batting of Aaron Finch and Josh Phillip. Finch scored 69 of 44 deliveries and provided a great platform to the middle order batsmen. Glenn Maxwell made the most of this platform given by the captain Finch. He scored 70 of just 31 deliveries to take Australia to 208 for 4 at the end of 20 overs. When New Zealand came out to chase a total of 209 in 20 overs, they had a decent start to the innings but lost too many wickets and too early. New Zealand's score was 80 for 2 at one point in the 9th over, but then the entire middle order collapsed like a pack of cards. New Zealand eventually were bowled out for 144 in 17.1 overs. Well, moving from cricket to Khelo India Winter Games, Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir topped the medal tally in the second edition of Khelo India Winter National Games. Jammu and Kashmir won 11 gold, 18 silver and 5 bronze medals. The 5-day mega sports event, which began on the 26th of February, concluded in the famous ski resort of Gulmarg in North Kashmir's Baramulla district. The event was inaugurated by Prime Minister Narendra Modi, and in his address, Narendra Modi had said that the second edition of Khelo India Winter Games is a major step towards making Jammu and Kashmir a hub of Winter Games in India. In the event, more than 1,200 athletes from 27 states and Union Territories took part. The event was organized by the Union Ministry of Youth Affairs and Sports in collaboration with the Jammu and Kashmir Sports Council and the Winter Games Association of Jammu and Kashmir. Well, on to tennis. The much popular Indo-Pak pairing of Rohan Bopanna and Ehsanul Haq Qureshi will be back after 6 years when they compete at the ATP 500 event in Mexico from March 15. It'll be the first time that Bopanna and Ehsanul Haq Qureshi, known as the Indo-Pak Express, will play together since they last competed at the ATP 250 event in China in 2014. The 2010 season turned out to be that breakthrough year for Bopanna and Ehsanul Haq Qureshi as they reached the US Open final together, losing to the great Bryan brothers. Bopanna even became world number 3 in that phase, touching his career best ranking in 2010. The pairing generated much interest in both the countries given the rivalry between the Asian neighbors. Since the 2012 was the Olympic year, Bopanna broke partnership with Ehsanul Haq Qureshi and chose to pair with compatriot Mahesh Bhupati for that season so that they could prepare for the London Olympic Games. They rejoined forces in 2014 before parting ways again. Now both 40-year-old Bopanna and Ehsanul Haq Qureshi will be together again, and the arrangement at this point of time is only for one tournament, this partnership for that Mexico ATP 500 event. Up next, football, a 15-point lead, 21 victories in a row, a club record lying 28 games unbeaten. The extraordinary numbers are stacking up for Manchester City as Pep Guardiola's winning machine powers to the Premier League title, and you can hear whispers of a potential quadruple. Guardiola particularly liked what he saw in that 4-1 win over Wolverhampton Wolves on Tuesday night. Heading into the final 10 minutes at the Etihad Stadium, City's players were there in their usual position of being held 1-1, but there was no panic. Instead, they just stepped up a gear, overwhelmed Wolves with their pressing and scored 3 goals in the span of 10 minutes. Gabriel Jesus scored in the 80th minute and again from close range with virtually the last kick of the game after Riyad Mahrez had made it 3-1, capping a period of incessant pressure by City after Wolves equalized in the 61st minute through Connor Cawley's header, the visitors' first touch in the City box that resulted in a goal. Well, the win helped City open a 15-point lead over rivals Manchester United, and City look very much comfortable there on way to the English Premier League crown. Well, staying with football but shifting to Italy, where Cristiano Ronaldo marked his 600 league appearance with his 20th Italian league goal of the season as Juventus beat Spezia 3-0 on Tuesday night to move within 3 points of second-placed AC Milan. The Portuguese guided his side's third goal late on after Alvaro Morata and Federico Chiesa had struck earlier in the second half to put Andrea Pirlo's side in a commanding position. Ronaldo, who also hit the post with an effort in the first half, becomes the first player to score at least 20 goals in each of the last 12 seasons in Europe's top 5 leagues. The win leaves Juventus third on 49 points from 24 games behind AC Milan on 52 and leaders Inter Milan with 56 points. Both the teams are in action this week against Udinese and Parma respectively. Well, that's all we have time for in this edition of Sports Buzz. I hope you liked it. If not, drop us a mail. If not, tell others about this particular program. Thanks for watching. Have a safe and wonderful evening ahead. Bye-bye.